Part 43. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 421. In the end, Li Chen's proposal was passed. All the villagers who could come came, and those who could not come would be conveyed by others. Li Chen knew that this matter could not be rushed, but it would be best to start construction as soon as possible. Old Yan, can you do this? Yan Liangjun was waiting for this sentence. He only brought 50 people to build a house at Li Chen's house, which did not mean that he only had 50 people under his command. How could he be relied on by the Pei family with only this little family background? Yes, Yan Liangjun said, our company still has several work teams, all of which can be transferred here, about 180 people. In fact, they have all seen the design drawings of the general idea provided by Li Chen. If this primary school is built, it will be one of the best private primary schools. The key is that everything is the best, which is definitely a big deal. Yan Liangjun, who has experienced Li Chen's straightforwardness once at Li Chen's house, will definitely not refuse at this time. Okay, gather some people and start construction today. Can your team of 180 people complete the construction within 2 months? As long as the weather is fine, it's totally possible, Yan Liangjun said. It's different now than before. All materials are much better. Okay, then I'll leave it to you. Hurry up and ask someone to come up with the design and plan, as well as the approximate estimated amount. Tell me, and I'll transfer the money to you when the time comes. Okay, Yan Liangjun was overjoyed. He didn't bother to say anything more and took out his phone directly. Old Xiao, it's me. Gather the brothers and get ready to start work. What? Building a school? Costing tens of millions. You must be bragging. What's the point of me bragging? Stop talking nonsense and come quickly, Yan Liangjun said. I sent you the address. All the more than 180 people in our team will come this time. Damn, are you serious? The wages are sky high. Just come when I ask you to come. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Hurry up and get all the equipment here. There can't be any mistakes this time. Okay. Yan Liangjun made calls one by one and then made arrangements immediately. No matter how you look at it, this matter is worth doing. The key is that Li Chen is generous and willing to spend money. Li Chen took Li Biwu and the others home first, letting the little kids play. Li Chen looked at the house that had already been built, and had to sigh that Yan Liangjun and others were very efficient. Of course, most of it now relies on mechanization, so the speed is much faster than before when it was purely manpower. It may only take half a month to build a house, and if the speed is fast, the decoration can be done in half a month. Of course, that's because Li Chen is willing to spend money. For ordinary people, it will take at least 2 months to build this house. But Li Chen is not short of money. After walking around his house, Li Chen found that there are still many places. These places can be used directly at that time. Uncle Zhao. Hey, you are back. Zhao Hualiang's leisurely and lazy voice came from the phone. Well, I've been back for a few days. Li Chen smiled and said, I want to ask you to do something. What's the matter? I'm so polite to your Uncle Zhao, Zhao Hualiang smiled. Ever since Zhao Deza recognized Li Chen as his cheap apprentice, Zhao Hualiang has regarded Li Chen as a member of the Zhao family. Maybe the concept of master and apprentice is not as strong as before, but it is different in the Zhao family. The relationship between master and apprentice is like father and son. This is the rule and the fact. Even though Li Chen had just a simple idea at first, he has changed now. Once a teacher, always a father. This is not just talk. Zhao Deza taught him everything he knew and helped him desperately, he remembered it all. Therefore, Zhao Hualiang did not stand off with him, and Li Chen was quite relieved. Help me find some olive tree seedlings. No matter how big or small, I want as many as I want. Zhao Hualiang, who was basking in the sun, immediately sat up and said, "What are you going to do? I heard that olive oil is useful for removing stretch marks." Zhao Hualiang rolled his eyes and cursed, "Stupid, this is just the merchant's deliberate promotion. Your master has a recipe. Have you forgotten it? Why don't you try it? But the materials are more difficult to find." Can you help me with it?" Li Chen asked tentatively. "Does your uncle Zhao work for nothing?" "Wait, I'll send it to you tomorrow," Zhao Hualiang said. "However, the things made from this recipe, when the time comes, our two families Zhao and Li will share 50% of it. How about that?" "Uncle Zhao makes the decision." Li Chen doesn't care whether this thing can make money in the future. He just promised Shuer to help her get rid of these, and he doesn't care about the rest. Zhao Hualiang is a businessman, and naturally he thinks about making money. Even Li Chen himself doesn't know how big a storm and trend will be set off by the things he tossed out from today. And it was precisely because of his research that Zhao Dezu had to hide back in Jia village. Because Li Chen's name is so famous, many people have come to him Zhao Dezu for medical treatment. How could Zhao Dezu, such a lazy person, agree? Of course, these are all later stories. Chengdu. Zhao Hualiang stretched his waist. Is the stinky boy starting to feel sorry for his wife? Zhao Hualiang smiled and said, "Xiao Zizi." Zhao Yingzi appeared with a dark face. She was disgusted with this name. "What's wrong? Who bullied you?" Zhao Hualiang asked, pretending to be stupid. Zhao Yingzi didn't want to pay attention to this unscrupulous uncle. Come on, get ready to work." Hearing about working, Zhao Yingzi's eyes lit up. "Go and prepare the medicinal materials for this prescription for me first." Zhao Hualiang handed Zhao Yingzi a list and said immediately, "Okay." Zhao Yingzi took it and turned to leave. "By the way, how is the investigation going on with the four major families?" When mentioning this matter, Zhao Yingzi immediately said, "There is something fishy." "What else?" "No more." Zhao Hualiang almost couldn't catch his breath. "Be serious, I'm asking you a question." "Oh," Zhao Yingzi immediately said, "now the Gao family is excluded, and the other three major families are fighting fiercely, and the Red Skull seems to be ready to intervene. It seems that the Murong family is behind the Gao family, but the strange thing is, why is the Gao family kicked out at this time?" Zhao Hualiang said, "Give me the information, you go first." By the way, Li Chen died once, but, it seems that few people know. Zhao Yingzi said before leaving, and Li Chen's good brother Gao Ziaja is now disabled. "Disabled?" Zhao Hualiang frowned. "Yes," Zhao Yingzi said, "I suspect, it was him who deceived Li Chen in the first place." The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 422. Gao family, Gao Ziaja, Zhao Hualiang muttered to himself. Gao Ziaja and Li Chen were good friends, so he naturally knew that. But now the Gao family was suddenly kicked out of the four major families and was abandoned. To be honest, there are many doubts. In addition, Zhao Hualiang was also very concerned about the things in the capital. He knew everything that happened in the capital. Li Chen is now half a member of the Zhao family, so he couldn't ignore it. He started investigating very early. Because Li Chen will come for revenge sooner or later. But the more he investigated, the more he found that the water was really deep. He only knew a little bit, but he was very clear that the Murong family was indeed involved in it, and the purpose was not small. But now that Li Hoqiang and Zhao Yufeng are dead, why are they still staring at the Li family? Could it be that the original laboratory was not the result they wanted in the end? Murong hungs. Zhao Hualiang cursed, "You old thing. Find someone to find out Gao Ziaja's whereabouts. I want to see him alive or dead." "Yes." Zhao Hualiang waved his hand and looked in the direction of Ljia village and said, "Are you not going to show up?" Ljia village. Li Chen was helping with the work, so he naturally had to take good care of his own vegetable garden. Because he came late recently, Li Chen was still worried that the big wild boar Liahe would suddenly appear. Fortunately, Liahe was also smart. He saw that Li Chen's family was building a house, so he didn't rush to show up. Just after Li Chen finished his work, the phone rang. It was Pei Jianghe. "Brother Chen, it's me. Speak." "I found it," Pei Jianghe said while drinking water. "According to what you said, Gao Xiaojia was the one who took you to that thing, but, now his whereabouts are unknown." Li Chen's eyes condensed slightly. It was indeed Gao Xiaojia. He still had an impression of this person. After all, he was a friend of his. They are not good brothers, but they were fooling around together at that time, so I still have some impression of them. In addition, the Gao family seems to be in a miserable situation now, and they have been cheated by the other three families, Pei Jianghe said. "Okay, I know," Li Chen said. "Increase the reward and find Gao Xiaojia for me." "Okay." After hanging up the phone, Li Chen thought about it, took out his mobile phone and said, "Let the people below prepare to close the net. I don't want anything to happen in Rongcheng." "Yes. But now, in addition to the Murong family being implicated, there are two forces that are unclear, and the Red Skull has been confirmed to be involved. Keep an eye on them." "I will prepare the money," Li Chen said. "Start the secret operation now, and drain them from the bottom of the pot. If they have a master, I'll take care of this," Li Chen said lightly. "Okay." After hanging up the phone, Li Chen exhaled. "Mom and Dad, I will avenge you soon." He didn't intend to torture the other party, nor did he intend to play a cat and mouse game with the other party. Just kill the four major families, and that's it. Now, he can't waste a lot of his time on these four major families. When he destroys the people of these four major families, some things will inevitably surface. Li Chen has guessed what Murong Hungs is seeking. If Murong Hungs really dares to do this, then the Murong family will never be able to turn over in this life. Since the Gao family is supported by the Murong family, many things can be connected. Gao Xiaojia was arranged and instructed by Murong Hungs in the beginning, and the purpose was to let Shuer meet him smoothly. That makes sense. The death of his father Li Hoqian and mother Zhao Yufeng was not an accident. Because Murong Hungs arranged all this. But Li Chen still doesn't know. If Murong Hungs arranged all this, then what is the purpose of the Red Skull and the other two forces involved? Did they notice it beforehand, or did they notice it afterwards, so they wanted to get a piece of the pie? After some things gradually surfaced, the Red Skull organization and the other two major forces gradually discovered the inappropriateness of the Murong family, so they kicked the Gao family out. Li Chen shook his head and was too lazy to think about it for the time being. The four major families are just pawns. What they want first should be their own system, right? He thought the system was like in the middle and then appeared. It seems not to be the case. This system, perhaps it has been modified by people? Then why are they staring at this system? Li Chen did not find that there are other things in this system, although it has changed the current situation to a certain extent. But for these people, it is not very useful. Li Chen couldn't figure it out. Maybe there are some things he didn't know about it. Li Chen was too lazy to think about it and continued to live his leisurely life. What he can do now is to restore the truth of the matter and then avenge his parents. Apart from this, the rest has nothing to do with him. As long as you don't provoke him, Li Chen, everything is fine. Xiao Wu. Ah. We should go back. Okay. Li Chen was packing up, so he could just leave this to Yan Liangjun. Li Chuanlong found that after Li Chen handed over the things, the place was actually arranged in an orderly manner, so he was relieved. It seems that the new house can be built in half a month. It's unexpectedly fast. After Li Chen cleaned up, the three little guys were sweating profusely. This is summer, otherwise they will really catch a cold. Since the three children came back, they have been tanned a lot. After they sat in the car, Li Chen drove to the village office. The village did not stop all day today, and there were people who came to donate money. Although they were all anonymous, the village chief and others were still shocked when they cleaned up at the end. The total amount of donations in the village was close to 3 million. What is the concept? There are only a little more than 100 households in the village, which means that each family donated almost 30,000 yuan. This is definitely not a small amount. You know, Ljia village is not actually very rich now. More than 30,000 yuan is definitely a super generous figure. Yan Liangjun's team has started working near the old site of the primary school. Large machines are in operation at a high speed. The houses have been almost demolished, and the ruins and slag are being dealt with. Village chief, are you done? Li Chen and Li Chuanlong got off the car, while Li Wenda and others were still counting and registering. It's almost done. Li Wenda also had a smile on his face. It must be the best for the village to have a primary school. At that time, children from surrounding villages can come here to study, and they don't have to go so far to the town. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami. Chapter 423. Okay, I'll make up the rest. Li Chen said. Today's primary schools are built according to today's highest standards. First of all, it must be earthquake resistant. The minimum construction cost is calculated based on 2,000 square meters, which is about 1 million, while the best one requires only 6 million. This is the highest level, and of course it won't be that much worse. In addition, leveling the foundation, demolishing old abandoned buildings, using the best for the playground, optimizing the drainage system, etc. After this calculation, the small project cost of construction costs alone is more than 1 million. It also needs to be equipped with some other hardware facilities, such as some playgrounds, gymnasiums, libraries, etc., which will add a lot of extra budget. A conservative estimate is around 1.5 million. In addition, the laying of classrooms, playground and sports facilities, campus ground hardening, campus greening, etc., the laying of water and electricity pipe networks, etc., are all costly. Plus the final desks and chairs, office desks and chairs, etc. There are many, this reaches tens of millions. This does not include the later recruitment, operation, and maintenance. After the completion of this primary school, there is no hope of making a profit in a short period of time. Of course, Li Chen doesn't care too much about profitability. Anyway, he is not short of money, and now the money has been circulated back through him again. It can be said that the gradual changes and construction of Ljia village will allow more funds to flow and circulate. Including the later stage of building the entire existence into a natural paradise, it is a huge consumption expenditure. And this is still far away. There is no rush now, just make little changes. Li Chen paid the remaining 7 million in advance, which was considered a small contribution. This money was all allocated by the village department. Li Chen did not intend to interfere, and the village chief Li Wenda had already told everyone that all the school's expenses should be posted in the future. Let everyone know where the money is spent. It takes many years to build a school, not 1 or 2 years. The best materials are used now, but they may not be the same in the future. But at least within 10 or 20 years, these problems will not be big. I transferred it to the village department's account, Li Chen said to Li Wenda. If anything happens, come to me then. Okay, Li Wenda nodded heavily. Ljiakan owed Li Chen's family another favor. As soon as Li Chen got in the car, there was a ding from the system. Ding. Detecting host consumption, 50 times rebate has been triggered, 350 million has been received. Drive back to the townhouse. Li Chuanlong took the children up first, while Li Chen was still sitting in the car. Nowadays, many things come together, and he needs to handle them one by one clearly and arrange them in place. Some things need to be synchronized. He doesn't plan to take too much care of the affairs of the four major families now. He will try his best to solve the problems that can be solved with money. The construction of the school is now starting, and the village department will just watch it carefully. The renovation and design of the entire village is still under planning. It still takes a lot of time to change bit by bit. Simply, Li Chen waited. Although this project is said to be worth 1 trillion when it is fully implemented, in fact, it may not really require that much. After all, he, Li Chen, still has the ability to cheat, just like an animal. Li Chen now has god-level ability to control animals, so he really doesn't have to worry about the lack of wild animals. And I am not afraid that wild animals will hurt people when the time comes. However, in the later stage, villagers need to gradually adapt to the fact that there are large wild animals. In addition, water conservancy projects in various places are now gradually being put on the agenda. However, Li Chen did not intend to make a big splash, but carried out slowly and quietly. Many of the water conservancy facilities in the village, including the underground drainage system, are honestly not very good. Then it is surrounded by mountains, and the place is uneven. It's an advantage and a disadvantage. When a natural paradise is built, the perfect integration with nature should also be considered. Transform without causing too much damage. If there is a heavy rainstorm or flash flood here in the future, the water and soil will be particularly critical. Li Chen looked at the items proposed by the designer and couldn't help but feel dizzy. They all start from a natural perspective, so the difficulty is naturally not small. If we want to make the local water and soil more solid and perfect, a lot of effort is needed. Having more trees is naturally beneficial. Improving the environment and consolidating water and soil are all very necessary. In addition, the village's reservoir needs to be reinforced and rebuilt, and its earthquake resistance level is not adequate. Once it collapses, the whole village will suffer. I didn't think about it before, so it doesn't matter. Now that he has taken it into consideration, Li Chen will naturally not ignore it easily. Okay, you continue planning, I will do the same for the time being, Li Chen said. Let's buy large quantities of high-quality saplings first. The transformation of the entire village cannot be completed overnight. He had no intention of turning into a big fat man in one bite. The construction of an extraterrestrial paradise must be laborious and time-consuming. Li Chen wants to make this place the most suitable place for human beings to live and a paradise for children. Naturally, you have to withstand many tests. After dealing with these things, Li Chen went into the house. Murong Shui had already gotten up, and was watching TV with the three little ones under their care. Daddy, Li Biwu held the big lingtong in his hand, his eyes flashing with excitement. Li Chen said with a smile, you play with your mom. No, Li Biwu jumped up and threw herself into Li Chen's arms to act coquettishly. Xiao Wu also knew that her mom was not feeling well, so she only looked for Li Chen. Li Chen could only play cards on the ground with Li Biwu. This game is also very simple, that is, one person takes half of the cards, and then those with the same number are collected. This is a relatively simple one that Li Chen had a good impression of before. At the beginning, his mother Zhao Yufeng played with him for a long time. Every time, Zhao Yufeng gave in to him, but he didn't know it at that time. Now thinking about it, it is a bit sweet and funny. Mida, although Li Biwu can't add and subtract yet, he still has no problem recognizing numbers. Li Chen smiled and accompanied him, but he was not serious and occasionally deliberately let him win. Li Nanfei was jumping up and down when he saw this. Finally, Li Nanfei drove Li Chen away and wanted to come and deal with Li Biwu himself. Li Biwu was no match for Li Nanfei. She lost everything in a few moves and rolled on the ground. Li Nanfei was so angry about Li Biwu's move that he could only drag Li Zifeng into the game and escape. As a sister, Li Zifeng was more reliable than Li Nanfei, who played games seriously. She also knew her sister's personality, so she gave in when she could. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 424. Watching Li Zifeng, the second sister, playing games with her younger sister seriously, Murong Shui was also quite relieved. At least, now Li Zifeng finally looks like a sister. Li Chen sat down next to Murong Shui, gently held her little hand, leaned against her and said, "Are you feeling better?" Hearing Li Chen's question, Murong Shui rolled her eyes at Li Chen and wanted to hit him. "You did this, don't you know what's going on?" But because there was a child here, Murong Shui couldn't say anything. Li Chen laughed dryly and gently used his internal energy to help Murong Shui regulate her body. Now, it is the most rare thing for this family to sit together. Ah! Daodu lay on the window, looking at the moonlight outside, and couldn't help howling. Li Chen grabbed a pillow and threw it over. Daodu's butt twisted and dodged, and he grinned at Li Chen. It seemed to be saying, "Hee hee, master, you can't hit me." Seeing this dog getting more and more mean, Li Chen was a little angry. This dog was not like this before. Li Nanfei saw Li Chen and Daodu looking at each other, and immediately handed him a pillow. This mean dog also nudged his butt, causing him to almost fall down when he was playing with toys. But he was so strong that he couldn't subdue him at all. "Maybe, Dad can." Li Chen glanced at Li Nanfei, who handed him the pillow and was eager to try, and then threw a pillow at him. Ah! Daodu was startled when he saw this and dodged like lightning. "Master, are you serious?" Although it is a dog, its perception is quite sharp. It is still very clear whether Li Chen is serious or not. The master obviously used internal strength just now. If it hits itself, wouldn't the dog's life be gone? Bang! "What's wrong?" Li Chuanlong, who was cleaning inside, ran out immediately, thinking that the child had fallen. It's Daodu." Li Chen pointed at Daodu, who looked confused and said, "This dog is rebelling at home." "Daodu," Li Chuanlong's face changed and he scolded, "Go throw away the garbage." Li Chen's eyes widened when he heard this. This cheap dog can also throw away garbage? "Grandpa, are you kidding?" "Ah!" Daodu wailed around Li Chuanlong and then made a sound, as if he was wronged and defending himself. Of course Li Chen understood what Daodu was shouting. "Old master, it's not Daodu's fault. The master framed me." Just when Li Chen was laughing secretly, Li Chuanlong looked over with unkind eyes and snorted, "You even bully a dog. You come to mop the floor." Li Chen. "Daodu, even if you are wronged, you have to throw away the garbage." Li Chuanlong pointed to the garbage in the trash can. Daodu glanced at the dazed Li Chen, then grinned with his teeth, and then took a cheerful step, stepping on the button of the automatic collection trash can like a dog seed. With a squeak, the trash in the trash can was packed. Daodu opened his mouth and bit the trash, ran to the door, and stood up. In the shocked eyes of Murong Shui and Li Chen, he opened the door, bit the trash bag and pressed the elevator. Li Chen stood up in surprise, with an unbelievable look on his face. Has the dog he raised become a spirit? "Grandpa, you..." Seeing Li Chen's confused expression, Li Chuanlong curled his lips. "Hasn't it been able to do this since it was a child? Make a fuss." "Li Chen. Where am I making a fuss? This stupid dog was not so smart before, right? Is it really seeing a ghost? Can it taunt, collect garbage, and open the door to take the elevator? Is this dog always learning to howl like a wolf?" "Dad," Li Biwu sat on the ground, tilting her head and saying, "Daodu is very smart." "Does Xiao know this too?" Li Chen was surprised, and then looked at Li Zifeng and Li Nanfei. Even these two kids were not strange at all. So I didn't pay attention to Daodu, so I felt strange. Gidao, Li Biwu nodded her head and said, Daodu can catch RU, and can climb trees. It's understandable that a dog can catch fish, but what the hell is it that it can climb trees? Isn't this raising a monster? What are you still standing there for? You just know how to eat and be lazy all day long. Go mop the floor. Li Chuanlong couldn't stand it anymore, thinking that Li Chen was deliberately dawdling. Li Chen looked at his grandfather's disgusted face and felt helpless. In this family, my status is lower than that of a dog. Woof woof. When Daodu came back after throwing away the garbage, Li Chen looked at the dog and smiled unkindly at him, and always felt that the dog was going to make trouble. Li Chen picked up the mop and started mopping the floor. Halfway through, his face turned black. Ah, Daodu's forelegs were all black. Moreover, the dog was dancing in front of Li Chen. The forelegs danced with a sense of rhythm, like the steps of a dog that didn't recognize any relatives. While dancing, he squinted at Li Chen with his dog eyes. Li Chen gripped the wooden handle of the mop tightly and narrowed his eyes. The dog was provoking him. This was the floor he had just mopped clean, but because it was dancing, it attracted Li Biwu and Li Nanfei to dance with him. The floor was dirty. It was black. Daodu. Ah, Daodu became even more excited. Take Li Biwu and Li Nanfei to have fun in the house. Murong Shui and Li Zifeng, who were lying on the sofa, looked at the scene in shock. This dog is taking revenge on Li Chen. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it. But, does Li Chen dare to hit it? No. Because this dog is relying on the power of others. Relying on the power of Xiao Wu and Xiao Fei, it takes them to have fun. When Li Chen wanted to beat it, it ran to Li Chuanlong, under the pretext of taking the little master to play. Today, Li Biwu, Li Nanfei, and Li Zifeng are the flesh and blood of Li Chuanlong. Even he, Li Chen, can only stand aside. Li Chen resisted the urge to beat the dog to death and dragged it over and over again. Daodu stepped on the dirty feet, leaving one black plum blossom mark after another on the floor. Daodu, if you step on it again, I'll break your legs. No, no. Li Biwu hugged Daodu's neck and looked at Li Chen pitifully. Dad, Daodu is very obedient, don't break its legs, okay. Woo Daodu rubbed in Li Biwu's arms with a wronged look. Tisk tisk. Li Zifeng was shocked. Who did Daodu learn this from? From Sci-fi. Ah, Li Nanfei, who had just laid down and whose belly was still heaving, sat up immediately and caught a glimpse of Li Chen's unfriendly eyes. No, no, no. Li Nanfei shook his head fiercely. It learned it by itself, it has nothing to do with me. Dad's eyes are so scary. I don't want to be beaten. By the way, how can Daodu act? Is this a drama dog? The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 425. Ao. Although Li's status in this family has fallen again and again. But Li will never admit that he is lower than a dog. So, a dog was taught a lesson. Li Chen did not take action, but used coercion. Only targeting Daodu, the dog. So, Li Nanfei and the others saw the dog rolling on the ground with its tongue sticking out. All kinds of wailing but unable to stand up. As soon as it stood up, it was immediately pressed down. It was only 3 minutes, and Daodu's hair was already wet with sweat. At this moment, it has understood that the master is no longer the master it can bully at will. Woo. For Daodu, it is not shameful to surrender if you can't beat him. Especially when the master is so powerful. Daodu crawled to Li Chen's feet and looked at Li Chen pleadingly, with tears in the dog's eyes. This made Li Chen feel very disgusted, because this guy was posing the same pitiful posture as Li Biwu. Li Chen pushed it away and said, "Go away." Daodu was in great pain, and finally looked at Li Biwu for help. Only the little master could save him. Ah! Li Biwu looked at Daodu looking at him, then looked at Li Chen, and said cautiously, "Daddy." Daodu Jideo poked it, "Can you let it go?" Looking at Li Biwu staring at him with innocent big eyes, he put 2 fingers on his chest and poked it. Li Chen squatted down helplessly and said, "If you make a mistake, you will be punished, understand?" Jideo. The same goes for Daodu, it is a member of our family, should it be punished if it makes a mistake? Yes. Then Dad can let it go, but it must mop the floor and wash the mop, Li Chen said to Li Biwu. Li Biwu scratched his hair, then looked at Daodu quietly and said, "Daodu, are you useless?" Daodu nodded his head immediately after hearing what Li Biwu said. "You have to learn it even if you don't know how to do it. Otherwise, the dog will die." "Daddy, Daodu is useless." Li Biwu immediately picked up Daodu, and the pressure on Daodu disappeared instantly. Daodu immediately howled happily. "I'll throw you out if you shout again," Li Chen threatened coldly. Daodu was so scared that he quickly shut his mouth and dragged the mop to the cleaning room obediently. Murong Shui immediately came over and said, "Did you raise it?" "Yes, I raised it with Xiao at the beginning." Li Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "It's so smart and can understand what we say." Murong Shui was excited to see the prey. "Take it to act, okay?" "Don't." Li Chen shook his head quickly. "Who knows how this bitch will cheat people? This is already too smart than those border collies. It dared to retaliate against me. If I really take it out, who can control it except myself, Grandpa and Xiao?" Listening to the sound of water running in the cleaning room, Murong Shui exclaimed, "Where is Xiao Wu?" "She's probably staying with Daodu," Li Chen said with a turn of his eyes. Of course he wouldn't say that Xiao Wu just wanted to go in and play in the water. Otherwise, Murong Shui would have to go out and wring her out. When Daodu came out, there were already 4 rags under its paws. Li Zifeng exclaimed, "Can it be like this?" Murong Shui. Li Chen. Under Daodu's feet, the 4 rags were very clean. This guy slid all the way over and wiped the floor clean. Ha ha. Li Biwu, the little fool, was chasing after her. Anyway, her body was already soaked. Daodu didn't run fast, and she looked at Li Biwu from time to time, probably because she was afraid that the little master would fall. "Daodu, Daodu, wait for me." Watching her stupid daughter chasing a dog to clean the house, Murong Shui felt that her 3 views were about to jump. What kind of dogs are these? They are too smart. When Daodu ran out again, it was Li Biwu sitting on the mop, and Daodu was dragging the mop. Murong Xiu. Li Chen. Li Zifeng had already picked up Li Chen's mobile phone and started filming. Li Chuanlong came out of the house and saw this scene. He was not surprised, but whispered, "Don't let Xiao Wu fall." Woof woof. It really understands. Murong Xiu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. With this dog, I guess no one will dare to bully Xiao Wu in the future? Seeing the man and the dog playing happily, Murong Xiu suddenly felt relieved. Even if she went to film, she didn't have anything to worry about. Not to mention that Li Chuanlong was there. Even if he and Li Chen were not there, she estimated that this dog could take care of Xiao Wu comfortably. Li Zifeng took her mobile phone and went to the cleaning room, watching the man and the dog communicating harmoniously. Although she thought the scene was a bit weird, it was very harmonious. After Daodu and Li Biwu played with water, they found that Li Zifeng was filming. The dog immediately became serious and asked Li Biwu to clean it herself, while it wiped the floor. It cleaned up all the water stains around it and finally hung up the mop. The whole process stunned Li Zifeng. A dog is smarter than a human, it's too much. Woof woof. Daodu barked at Li Zifeng, then stood up and pointed at the hair dryer. "You, let me blow your hair." Li Zifeng felt like she had seen a ghost. How could she understand what Daodu meant? Daodu immediately grinned and nodded his head, and pushed Li Biwu over again, pointing his paw at Li Biwu. Blow Xiao first. Woof woof. Come here, Xiaofei. Li Nanfei rushed over and asked, what? Take it, shoot it. Li Zifeng handed the phone to Li Nanfei, and Li Biwu and Daodu began to blow her hair. After they were done, the three children and the dog went straight to the living room except for the washing room. Li Zifeng immediately came to Murongxiu and said, Mom, I think if this video is sent out, our Daodu may become famous. Hearing what her eldest daughter said, Murongxiu clicked on the video, and her eyes widened as she watched. Even though her 3 views had collapsed today, she couldn't help but collapse again. This dog is so smart. Daodu! Murongxiu shouted. Daodu's ears immediately stood up, and he immediately ran to Murongxue's front and squatted down, stretched out his dog head, and leaned close to Murongxue's palm. Even if Murongxue was a fool, she could understand what the dog meant. He wanted her to touch him. Murongxue didn't know whether to say that this was a demon dog or a drama dog. After touching Daodu, Daodu immediately showed a look of enjoyment. Daodu! Xiaofei and I are going to film, can you take care of Xiao and Xiaofeng? Daodu glanced at Li Nanfei, then at Li Zifeng who was wide-eyed, and then nodded his head heavily. Don't worry, mistress, with me, Emperor Daodu, here, no one will hurt the little masters and their children. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihamigua. Chapter 426. Seeing Daodu nodding his head in a serious and arrogant manner, Murongxue was both relieved and worried. After all, his dogs are so smart. If Xiao Wu knows the truth in the future. Why? Murongxue thought for a while and decided not to worry about the future. Children and grandchildren have their own blessings, and Xiao Wu now has Daodu, a dog that is almost a sperm, accompanying each other. At least in childhood, it is unlikely that she will suffer. Okay, Murongxue touched Daodu's head, and the pervert looked like she was enjoying it. Mom! Li Biwu came over with fluffy hair and a smile on his face. After getting close to Murongxue, Li Biwu hugged Daodu and started to cradle it. One person and one dog started rolling on the ground again. Although Daodu is not as good as that kind of purebred dog, he is very smart. He also knows how to protect his little master. Murongxue was quite pleased that Li Zifeng had already taken Li Chen to learn editing. In fact, there is nothing to edit, after all, this thing is one shot to the end, which is a bit long. Li Chen trimmed it a little, and then let Li Zifeng do it by herself. Now Li Chen's mobile phone and Murongxue's mobile phone were both held in Li Zifeng's hands. This little girl is not Li Biwu, she only knows how to eat. Li Zifeng is very talented and can learn everything very quickly. Within a few seconds, she uploaded the video she had just taken. He also noted the photographer, Xiao Wu's sister. After Li Zifeng uploaded the video, she threw her phone aside and joined in the human-dog battle. Xiaofei, stop playing and go take a shower first. Only then did they realize that it was very late again before they knew it. Oh, Li Nanfei, who was sweating from playing, was still very obedient, so he was taken to take a bath by Li Chuanlong. As for Li Zifeng and Li Biwu, they were still playing with Daodu. Seeing her stupid sister acting silly, Li Zifeng did a somersault and finally landed smoothly. Xiao Wu. When Li Biwu looked up, he saw the provocative look in his second sister's eyes. Now I have to get up and follow suit. When Murongxue saw this, she quickly grabbed Li Biwu and said, why don't you just say goodbye to your sister? Li Biwu hid in Murongxue's arms and ran around, giggling. She felt that if her sister could do it, she could do it too. Xiao Wu, can you jump down? Li Zifeng pointed to the sofa. After hearing this, Li Biwu became so excited that Murong Shui almost stopped him. Li Zifeng, what do you want to do? Xiao Wu is too weak, I'm training her, Li Zifeng said with a smile. You are weak. When Li Biwu heard that his second sister disliked him, his boss became unhappy. Murong Shui held her forehead with a speechless expression. How could this stupid girl fall into the provocation so easily? Then you should learn from me. Li Biwu was like a calf about to bullfight, dragging Murong Shui forward. Murong Shui was really tired with such two daughters. Xiao Wu, don't imitate your sister. Your sister used to be stupid and often fell off the sofa. Li Biwu, who was exerting his strength, was shaken and looked at Murong Shui with wide eyes. Zunda. Why do you always like to tear others down? Li Zifeng's face turned red. The enthusiasm just now was gone in an instant. Seeing that Li Biwu didn't want to bother anymore, Murong Shui also breathed a sigh of relief. Otherwise, I really can't hold on. Humph, I won't play with you anymore. Li Zifeng stood up and put on her shoes, preparing to play by herself. Second sister Li Biwu immediately got up and wanted to play with Li Zifeng. I don't want to play with you. Li Zifeng ran into the house and closed the door. Li Biwu stood at the door with bare feet, staring blankly at the door, and shouted softly, Second sister. Xiao is playing with you. I don't want to play with you. Li Zifeng snorted, Mom always thinks I'm leading you down. Murong Shui's smile gradually faded as she sat on the sofa. Li Biwu was the youngest, so she was naturally worried and concerned. But it is precisely because of her excessive concern that Li Zifeng hardly feels this feeling now. Children are extremely sensitive, and adults may think they are too young to care. But in fact, children are extremely concerned about it. Li Zifeng admitted that after returning to the village, she was happy every day. With a group of friends, you can be carefree and don't even have to think about whether you will encounter danger. However, even though she was having fun, she found that she was a bit redundant in this home. Xiao Wu was very young, so her parents doted on her, even her great-grandfather doted on her. Next is Xiao Fei, because he is the only boy now. Grandpa may be able to treat everyone equally for their efforts, but Li Zifeng can feel it. He is the one who is least valued. It was only now that Li Zifeng locked herself in the room that Murong Shui suddenly realized this problem. When you have more children, you will naturally have some preferences. Even if it is said that everyone is treated equally, how can it really be possible to take care of everyone? After all, human energy has its limits. Murong Shui fell into deep thought for a while listening to the conversation between Li Zifeng and Li Biwu on the other side of the house. She didn't get up immediately to solve the problem because she didn't think about what to say. When children grow up, they are between sensible and ignorant. If she can't understand clearly, this kind of emotion and cognition will always be rooted in her heart. This is not what Murong Shui wants to see. She hopes that she can sort out her thoughts and have enough sincerity to talk to Li Zifeng again. Li Biwu ran over barefoot. Perhaps because the second sister's emotions infected her, the little girl was not in a good mood. The cheerful atmosphere in the room suddenly became much more depressed. What's wrong? Li Chen, who just came out, saw the gloomy scene now. Daddy, Li Biwu threw herself into Li Chen's arms with a little cry, and said with red eyes, Second sister ignores Xiao. Why ignore Xiao? Li Chen sat down, hugged the little girl, and gently patted her back to comfort her. Because Mom is partial. Murong Shui's heart trembled, and she didn't know what to say. Li Chen glanced at Murong Shui and said softly, Is it your second sister who thinks that Mom is partial to her? Yeah, Li Biwu nodded, then sniffed seriously and said, I'll go apologize to my second sister, she doesn't want to pay attention to me. Why do you want to apologize? Because it's Xiao's fault. The little girl lowered her head, She didn't want her second sister to ignore her in the future. Xiao will be good in the future. Then, Li Biwu added another sentence. Li Chen nodded softly and said, then let mom take you to take a bath first, and dad will take you to talk to my second sister later, okay? Li Biwu's eyes gradually brightened, and he sniffed hard and said, Zunda. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 427. Of course it's true. When has dad ever lied to you? Li Chen scratched Li Biwu's little nose. Li Biwu turned around and threw herself into Murong Shue's arms, pulling Murong Shue and saying, Mom, take Xiao Wu to take a bath. Glancing at Li Chen, seeing Li Chen nodding at her, Murong Shue then carried Li Biwu to the bathroom to give her a bath. Li Chen glanced at the phone on the sofa and picked it up. The interface opened to the post that Duyan had just posted. Likes and comments, all of which were already exploding. And the copy below was, this is home, with cute Daodu, and younger sisters and brothers. I am Xiao Wu's elder sister. Looking at this copy that could express Li Zifeng's innermost feelings, Li Chen couldn't help but sigh. Li Chen flipped through these comments, and a smile unconsciously appeared at the corner of his mouth. After reading for a long time, Li Biwu had already finished washing. He didn't care about his mom and rushed directly to Li Chen. Li Chen picked up the phone, picked up Li Biwu, walked to Li Zifeng's door, and knocked on the door. Xiao Feng, can you open the door for daddy? There was no response from the room, and Li Chen frowned slightly. He heard a slight sob. Xiao Feng. After a long time, Li Zifeng opened the door and saw Li Chen standing at the door holding Li Biwu, and immediately turned around with a cold face. Li Chen immediately went into the room, gently closed the door, and put Li Biwu down. Xiao was a little scared when she saw Li Zifeng like this. But she still mustered up the courage, ran to Li Zifeng with her short legs, and stared at Li Zifeng, who was obviously crying with her butt sticking out. She gently stretched out her chubby hand and tried to wipe it for her sister, but Li Zifeng dodged it. Xiao looked at Li Chen a little at a loss. At this time, only daddy could help her. Li Chen sat directly next to Li Zifeng, gently hugged Li Zifeng's weak little body, and then waved to Li Biwu again. Li Biwu immediately got into Li Chen's arms, but looked at Li Zifeng with some worry in her big eyes. The three fathers and daughters didn't say anything. At the door, Murong Shue clenched her hands and pressed against the door nervously, her heart full of self-blame. Mom. Li Nanfei ran over and whispered, what are you doing? Murong Shue squatted down gently, touched Li Nanfei's head bitterly and said, your second sister is angry, your father and Xiao Wu are in there. Upon hearing this, Li Nanfei pulled Murong Shue and said, leave it to dad, dad will definitely handle it. But Li Nanfei forcibly dragged Murong Shue away and said, second sister is very sensitive, but she is also stronger than you think. This was the first time Murong Shue heard her son evaluate his sister. Second sister actually knows everything. She also told us that she is jealous of Xiao Wu and me. Murong Shue's heart was hit hard, she had never known it. But, my second sister also said that my mother loved her in the past, but now Xiao and I are younger, so it is only natural that she loves us. Li Nanfei grabbed Murong Shue's hand and comforted her, my second sister is not blaming you, but I just hope you can pay more attention to her. Murong Shue felt a dull pain in her heart, she really ignored it. Li Zifeng's mood gradually calmed down a little. Seeing this, Li Chen took out his mobile phone and played the video that Li Zifeng had sent out. Has the blogger been kidnapped by Xiao Feng? I'm shocked, my god, Xiao Wu's elder sister, haha, I like to see Xiao Feng. Xiao Wu is so cute. Is this dog a real dog? Why does it look like a spirit? Dodo? Why is it named like this? But this dog looks like her, but why does it feel like a wolf? Ha ha ha, Xiao Wu and Dodo's cooperation is simply amazing. Wow, Xiao Feng blows Xiao Wu's hair, so warm. The key is that this dog is also very smart, right? Seeing Xiao Wu's elder sister looking at Dodo with a confused and shocked face, I laughed unkindly. As Li Chen read out the comments one by one, Li Biwu's eyes widened. Even Li Zifeng's eyes were diverted. Where, Li Biwu lay in Li Chen's arms and arched hard. Don't move, Dad is looking through it. Li Chen smiled and said, Xiao Feng, it seems that your first shoot was very successful. Look, everyone likes you now. I hope you can shoot more. Li Zifeng blinked, and her attention was inevitably diverted. When she saw that everyone liked it very much and even asked her to appear more, Li Zifeng's little face turned red. I didn't expect that my baby actually has the potential to be a director, Li Chen said to Li Zifeng. How about, Dad will invest in you a little, you can be a director, and then you can direct your brother and your mother. Really? Li Zifeng couldn't help but ask. Of course, Li Chen laughed and said, if they want them to reshoot, they have to reshoot. Li Zifeng's eyes lit up. But then she woke up again, with a little shyness and embarrassment on her face. I didn't expect that she would be led astray by her father like this. Dad, Li Zifeng leaned on Li Chen's chest, and opposite her was Li Bu was staring with big round eyes. I don't know why she was grinning. Li Chen continued to read the comments. This group of netizens was very happy. And they liked Li Zifeng's filming very much, mainly because it was long enough. Don't you like me too? Hearing this, Li Chen put down his phone and said seriously, what do you mean? Do you think your mother doesn't like you? Li Chen asked back. The light in Li Zifeng's eyes dimmed. I don't know. Then I'll tell you now, your mother, your father, your great-grandfather, and your grandmother all like you. Li Chen said seriously, it's indeed our fault that we ignored you, and Dad wants to apologize to you for this. Li Zifeng stared at Li Chen with wide eyes, perhaps not expecting his father to apologize. We are parents for the first time, and we have no experience. Although your mother gave birth to the four of you, it is impossible for her to take care of you in every way, Li Chen said seriously. You said your mother doesn't like you, how sad she must be. She worked hard to raise you, and she suffered the most. The reason why she cares less about you is that she thinks you can take care of yourself and you are sensible. Only ignorant children need to be taken care of, such as Xiao. Fuzhuo, Li Bu sat up immediately in anger, grabbed Li Chen's hand and said, Xiao doesn't care. Li Chen looked at the angry little girl and pressed her down again. You see, your sister is silly, so your mother and I are worried, but you are different, you are our pride. You are also their sister. When your mother and I are not around you, you are an adult, do you know? The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 428. You can think I'm biased, but you must not think of your mother like this, understand, Li Chen said distressedly. She swallowed all the hardships silently in order to give birth to you. It's because I didn't show up in time and I didn't take good care of you. When Li Bu heard this, she immediately threw herself into Li Chen's arms and hugged him tightly. Li Zifeng lowered her little head, and finally shook her head. I don't blame my mother. Then blame Dad. Li Chen hugged his eldest daughter and said, it's all because Dad showed up late, didn't give you care, and didn't take care of you. But, Dad is also a father for the first time, and there are many things that he knows for the first time. Li Chen apologized and admitted his mistake seriously. So Xiao Feng, you have to give Dad a chance to correct it, understand? Otherwise, Dad doesn't know where he is wrong, and doesn't know how to correct it. Li Zifeng never thought that Li Chen would say such a thing. She is not Xiao Wu, nor Xiao Fei, but she is actually quite precocious. At this time, she can understand what Li Chen said. She thought that a man like her father should know everything. It turned out that her father was also a father for the first time, and he said he knew nothing. Li Zifeng couldn't help laughing. Seeing her second sister laughing, Li Zifeng also laughed foolishly. Okay, Li Zifeng put her chin on Li Chen's chest and laughed. Then can I point out Dad's mistakes in the future? Yes, Li Chen smiled and touched Li Zifeng's head and said, anytime. Next, your mother and your brother will go to film. The three of us, father and daughter, should take good care of each other, right? Yes, Li Biwu nodded heavily, and her chin poked Li Chen a little painfully. Yeah, Li Zifeng said. That's good. Li Chen smiled and said, what do you think Dad did not do well? Yeah, not caring enough about me. Then I will care about you in the future just like I care about Xiao, but you are not allowed to be impatient, Li Chen joked. Hearing this, Li Zifeng's little face flushed, and she hugged Li Chen like Xiao Wu and said, no way. Ha ha ha. Li Chen laughed happily. Being hugged by two daughters and acting like a spoiled child, isn't this enough for life? Okay, then go out and have a good talk with your mother. We are a family, and we must talk about anything, otherwise it will be very tiring to guess each other. Okay. Okay, Li Zifeng nodded heavily. Dad. Ah. Can I sleep with you tonight? I wanted to, Li Biwu jumped. Okay, Dad will sleep with you too tonight, but, you two are not allowed to move around. It's Xiao Wu who's moving around, not me. It's the second sister, Xiao Wu, be good. Tisk, you're always not good when you sleep. You're not good. The two sisters quarreled again. Li Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Being a nanny is really a physical and mental job. Listening to the laughter coming from the living room, Li Chen shook his head and then smiled. Solved, Li Chuanlong just came out of the room. Yeah, Li Chen smiled and nodded, I just found out that there are so many things to take care of children. Not bad, Li Chuanlong nodded with satisfaction, grown up a lot. With the affirmation of his grandfather, Li Chen hummed a little song and went to wash up. Living room. The three little ones snuggled together, and their relationship was very good at this time. Bal Chiang. This time, the third brother will give you a good one, okay, Li Nanfei hugged Li Biwu and covered Li Biwu's mouth. Woo woo. Okay, if you agree, then I will let it go, Li Nanfei talked to himself. Murong Shui, who was on the side, witnessed the whole process and couldn't help rolling her eyes. You hug your sister and don't let her speak, so this is considered her agreement? Calabash Brothers, 7 Flowers on a Vine. As the main film began, Li Nanfei had already hidden in Li Chuanlong's arms. Li Zifeng sat next to Murong Shui, and only Li Biwu sat in the middle, with eyes wide open and a tense face. Beat it. Li Biwu was furious, and jumped up when he saw his grandfather being taken away. Li Nanfei glanced at his stupid sister, and couldn't help but nod with satisfaction. He finally didn't have to watch Bal Chiang anymore. They almost memorized all the stories after playing them back and forth. When Li Chen finished washing, Li Biwu was still jumping around angrily. Apparently, the little girl also liked Calabash Brothers. Daddy, seeing Li Chen coming over, Li Biwu threw herself into Li Chen's arms angrily, muttering something. As everyone knows, Li Biwu would keep mumbling whenever he saw the cartoon. Everyone was used to it. Okay, I've watched cartoons for an hour today, it's time to go to bed. Murong Shui turned off the TV. Li Zifeng, Li Nanfei, and even Li Biwu seemed to be reluctant to leave. Dad, Li Zifeng immediately called Li Chen and blinked. The girl was worried that Li Chen would forget. Li Chen smiled and said, okay, then you put on your sister's shoes, I'll come later. Li Zifeng was immediately overjoyed, and hurried down to throw the shoes to Li Biwu. Li Biwu slid down the sofa clumsily, and put on the shoes without even looking. You put them on the wrong way, Li Zifeng reminded. No problem. It's the wrong way. This is only the left foot. No. Li Zifeng was so angry that she carried Li Biwu to the sofa, took off 2 small slippers and said, "This is the left foot, this is the right foot." Li Biwu, who was sitting on the sofa, blinked and nodded. So am I wearing it right or wrong? Yes, Li Biwu thought about it and said seriously. Li Zifeng rolled her eyes and exploded, "Didn't I just say that this is only the left foot?" Okay. Li Zifeng swapped the positions of the 2 shoes, and then changed them several times, and finally said, "Is this right or wrong?" Yes. Li Zifeng was so angry that she put the shoes down heavily and said, "What you say is right is right. This stupid sister is hopeless. Can't tell the front from the back." Murongxiu couldn't stop laughing and said, "Don't talk about your sister. When you wore shoes, you were all the same. You all like to wear the shoes inside out." Li Biwu smiled and still wore a pair of shoes inside out. Children don't care about these things. It doesn't matter whether they are right or wrong. The key is that when you wear shoes inside out, they won't fall off easily. Li Biwu saw Li Zifeng go to the room, and ran after her. Li Chen said, "The 2 little girls are going to sleep with me tonight." "What about me?" Murongxiu widened her eyes. "Did she give birth to 2 rivals in love?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami. Chapter 429. You, sleep alone tonight. No, Murong Shui shook her head. Then let Xiao Fei sleep with you. That brat is now clinging to his great-grandfather and doesn't even bother to pay attention to me. Li Chen glanced at his youngest son who had followed Li Chuanlong back to his room to sleep early, and was speechless. Come on, go to bed first, I'll accompany them later. Ah! Murong Shui screamed, never expecting Li Chen to hug her like a princess. Fortunately, Grandpa Li Chuanlong had already taken Li Nanfei to bed, otherwise Murong Shui could have found a hole in the ground to crawl into. Li Chen walked quickly to the room and put Murong Shui, who was full of surprise and shyness, on the bed. Murong Shui didn't know what to say. The child is still at home, and you are like this. Li Chen chuckled, turned on the air conditioner for Murong Shui, covered her with the air conditioning quilt and said, "Tonight I am the wife of 2 little girls, so I have to let my wife sleep alone." Humph, Murong Shui snorted coldly, "What a sin I have committed." In fact, Murong Shui was still very happy. At least, the children had no grudges against Li Chen. Not only that, they were particularly attached to Li Chen, which was a good thing. "Wife, good night," Li Chen gently kissed Murong Shui's forehead. "Good night," Murong Shui said sweetly. It would be even better if the 2 daughters didn't snatch her husband. Going out quietly, Li Chen went straight to the room of the 2 daughters. "Daddy," Li Biwu jumped up excitedly, holding a big lingtong in one hand. Seeing this, Li Chen's face changed and said, "Put it down, let's go to sleep." No, Li Biwu came over and kissed Li Chen. Li Chen sighed, thinking that his life was locked up by this little fool. "Then you can only play for a while. Okay, Li Biwu can also have fun alone." Relatively speaking, Li Zifeng is much quieter. Li Chen lay down and wondered, "Why did you change the sheets and quilts?" Li Zifeng, who was reading the comments, glanced at Li Biwu who was still jumping and said, "You have to ask her." Li Chen's face changed slightly and said, "Did you wet the bed?" "Yeah." Li Chen was shocked. Although Xiao Wu had bad habits before, she didn't wet the bed. Why did she wet the bed again? Xiao Wu had never wet the bed before, and Li Chen subconsciously forgot about it. Not to mention Li Biwu, even Li Nanfei might wet the bed. Did the great-grandfather clean it up? Yeah, Li Zifeng nodded. Li Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and it was also embarrassing for this eldest daughter. However, Li Chen didn't expect that his grandfather actually did so many things quietly. When it was almost done, Li Chen hugged Li Biwu and took away her toys. Li Biwu clung to Li Chen with her inner strength to calm her restless mood. Xiao, get ready for bed. Okay, Li Biwu kissed Li Chen again. The two sisters clung to Li Chen tightly and slowly fell asleep. After an unknown amount of time, Li Chen woke up. Li Zifeng also woke up. They both looked at Li Biwu, who was sleeping soundly, and the wet sheets. Hold Xiao. Li Chen picked up Xiao and began to change her. Fortunately, there were many spare sheets at home. Finally, Xiao was wiped again. The little girl slept very sweetly. Okay, go to sleep. Li Chen comforted his eldest daughter to sleep, and waited for a long time before slowly falling asleep. Early morning. Li Chen woke up first. Looking at the teeth marks and saliva on his arm, he shook his head. Most people really can't stand Xiao's bites, and only his cultivation level is not afraid. Li Zifeng didn't sleep well last night, so when Li Chen got up, she was still sleeping soundly. Xiao Wu wet the bed again. When Li Chen got up, Li Chuanlong had already gotten up. Yeah, Li Chen asked in confusion, didn't you wet the bed before? Why is it wet now? You wet the bed when you were 8 years old. Did I tell you? Li Chen. It's not inevitable for children to wet the bed. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. This is normal. Li Chuanlong said, okay, don't bother for the next 2 days. Accompany Shuer and the others. I'll be in the village. Give me the car keys. Oh, okay, Li Chen also objected. After tomorrow, Murong Shui will take Li Nanfei to film. He doesn't need to help with the village's affairs for the time being, so he simply won't go. The village is now thriving. Many people are building houses. Now that the roads in the village are open, schools are being built. This means that the village is getting better and better. Li Chen was too lazy to care about it. Yan Liangjun's people were there at school, so he believed that nothing would go wrong. So, Li Chen simply accompanied them for the past 2 days. After Murong Shui got up, Li Chen made breakfast for them. After learning that she had wet the bed, Li Biwu's face was red, like a monkey's butt. The little girl turned out to be very shy. Li Chen, the things have arrived in town, and someone will call you later, Zhao Hualiang called. Oh, okay, Li Chen nodded. Of course, Li Chen has a prescription for stretch marks. The reason why he didn't say anything but went to Zhao Hualiang to talk was because he wanted to use Zhao Hualiang's mouth to get some good things. Otherwise, it would be too abrupt. Now, after the good medicinal materials arrive, after being watered and cultivated with vitality water, the products produced at that time should be top-notch. Soon, the delivery man called Li Chen and asked about Li Chen's residence. Dad, what are you doing? Li Biwu looked up at Li Chen, and Daodu followed her. Dad is going to get something. Li Chen opened the door. I want to go too. Okay, Li Biwu opened his arms. Looking at this clingy person, Li Chen had to pick her up, and the father and daughter went downstairs with the dog. The things delivered this time were really not few, and Li Chen had to go back to cultivate them. But he was not in a hurry today, so he first took the things up and put them in the house. In the past 2 days, Li Chen didn't plan to run around, so he stayed with Murong Shui and the 3 children. Since they didn't want to stay in the house anymore, Li Chen took them shopping. Children always like to get new things and get tired of old things, especially toys. Even if there are a lot of toys piled up in the house, they still want to buy them. For example, Li Biwu, since she became obsessed with Calabash Brothers, she had to buy Calabash Brothers. She was not interested in other things at all, which made Li Chen quite helpless. The family could only go to the supermarket, but in order to prevent Xiao Wu from constantly getting tired of old things, Murong Shui only bought him one calabash brother, the big one. Li Biwu was heartbroken and cried for a long time. However, when she heard Murong Shui say that as long as she was obedient, she would buy the remaining 6 babies and grandfather in the future, she stopped crying immediately. Xiao Wu, a foodie, is still easy to coax. The Country Life of a Rich Dad. Author, Wo Shihami Gua. Chapter 430. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. After Li Biwu's soft and hard begging, she finally got 4 calabash brothers. In the evening, Li Chuanlong came back a little late. He now likes to stay in the village more. Grandpa. Look, Li Biwu held up her toys and showed off in front of Li Chuanlong. You have 4. Yes, Li Biwu waved her little hands excitedly. Daddy said that when Xiao is good and doesn't cry, he will buy me one. Our Xiao is the most obedient child. Li Chuanlong smiled and pinched Li Biwu's cute little face. Li Biwu laughed and ran into the house to continue playing. Inside the house, Li Chen was packing things for Murong Xiu. In fact, she didn't need a lot. Li Nanfei had even fewer things of his own. Although he was filming on location, it was not too far from here. Do you want to bring these? No, Murong Shui was at a loss for words, and said, I have everything. Then call me when you get there. Okay. If someone bullies you, tell me. Okay. The two hugged each other tightly. Why don't we stop filming? I can afford it anyway. Murong Shui was at a loss for words. Why did this man say one thing after another? He said he wouldn't stop her the previous second, but now he wants to go back on his word? You are the boss and the investor, you have to keep your word, Murong Shui said softly. After Xiao Fei and I finish filming this drama, we won't film this year, and I will stay at home with you. Okay, Li Chen was still a little reluctant, and his heart was very conflicted. He respected Murong Shui, and he didn't want Murong Shui to give up her only pursuit because of him. But at the same time, because he liked, loved, and was reluctant, he didn't want his wife to leave temporarily. Even if the filming was quick this time, it would take 2 months. Murong Shui felt Li Chen's strong reluctance and comforted him gently. It will be over soon. I hope that when I come back, everything will be settled for you, and we can get the marriage certificate. Okay, Li Chen nodded heavily. He knew that everything Murong Shui said was about revenge for Li Hoxian. Murong Shui kissed Li Chen and said, why don't you let go? This man is getting more and more attached to her. Okay, Li Chen nodded, let go of Li Chen, and dragged her suitcase. As soon as she went out, she saw Li Nanfei looking at her with disdain. Shame on you. Li Chen. Li Nanfei dragged his small suitcase, and as soon as he opened the door, Zhao Shanchuan appeared. Zhao Shanchuan is now a master. Although he was forcibly promoted by Li Chen, he is still a real strong man. They depend on you to take care of them. Don't worry, son-in-law. Zhao Shanchuan nodded, and his awe of Li Chen reached the extreme. By the way, I have done what you asked me to do. Recently, those old guys will come to you for help. Okay, Li Chen smiled, and then took Li Biwu, Li Zifeng, and Daodu to send Murong Shui and her son out. Outside, the bulletproof car arranged by Li Chen was in place. With Zhao Shanchuan as an escort, Li Chen was more relieved. In today's world, the Grand Master is already the top powerhouse. Of course, those above the Grand Master are another matter. Mom, goodbye. Li Biwu waved her little hand. Murong Shui smiled and waved to her 2 daughters, and the car started. Woof woof, Daodu also called twice. As if to say, Mistress, I will take good care of the little master's sisters. How long will it take for Mom to come back? I will be back soon. Then Dad will take you to see them. Okay. Okay. The family returned to the house. The departure of Murong Shui and Li Nanfei made the atmosphere of the family still a little depressed. The two little guys stopped playing around and wanted Li Chen to accompany them tonight. Li Chen agreed. Early morning. Li Chen got up early, helped Xiao Wu put on her clothes, and then took Li Chuanlong back to the village. By the way, planted the large quantities of precious medicinal herbs that Zhao Hualiang bought. This time, plant them near home, not too far away. These are the key medicinal herbs used to eliminate stretch marks in the future. In the immortal level medical inheritance book he obtained, there are many such prescriptions. And the ones he revealed before are not the best, but they are also rare in the world. After Li Chen planted carefully, Li Biwu brought his own small bucket, which was black and black. Relatively speaking, Li Zifeng is much more stable. After all, this girl is much bigger than Li Biwu, and she is also strong enough. Xiao Wu, can you still carry it? Li Chen asked while planting. I can lift it. Li Biwu's face turned red, even though she was a little tired. But seeing that her sister lifted it all in one breath, she didn't want to lose. Hearing this, Li Chen smiled and said, be careful, don't fall. Okay. Finally, Li Biwu successfully lifted the small bucket of water. Although she had spilled almost half of it while shaking just now, it was still a success. Then, she followed her second sister's example and carefully watered the herbs she had just planted. Originally, Li Chen didn't plan to let the two little guys participate, but they insisted on coming. After thinking about it, Li Chen agreed because he felt that there was no harm in it. It might not be a bad thing to work occasionally. After the planting was completed, Li Chen began to join the watering. It would take some time for these herbs to mature. But he would use pure Yuankai water to water them in the future, which should save a lot of time. Looking at his two daughters who were sweating profusely, Li Chen said with a little distress, go to the shed and rest, don't get sunburned. Although the two daughters wanted to help, the sun was too strong. Li Zifeng took Li Biwu back to the tent to blow the electric fan. The house of Li Chen's family has already appeared. It is worthy of being a construction team of 50 people. The speed is so fast. Li Chen moved to another place, which is the small courtyard of the Li family. Many rare species brought by Lao He are now planted here. Li Chen did not stop watering. These are extremely rare treasures in the world, which can help people improve their cultivation. It can be said that, apart from Li Chen, there is no other person who owns it. The spiritual energy and medicinal power contained in these herbs are absolutely rare. Li Chen carefully protects them. After watering, Li Chen stretched his body and decided to solve the problems of the four major families. During this time, Xiao Long can be brought back. Only in this way can this family be considered complete in the true sense. Dad, there is a snake here.